Now, let's talk about AOC, the super lefty idiot who thinks that Gaza-Israel can all be solved with hugs and understanding.
Ceasefire means there is no military solution, only a diplomatic and cultural solution. A relational solution, a reckoning with ourselves and our history. That is what ceasefire now means.
It's such complete nonsense. Basically, she said there's no military solution, meaning you have to just have a ceasefire for some sort of kumbaya moment and everybody can come together and get over this stuff. Look, the Nazis were defeated militarily. We won World War II. World wars, World War I, other wars, they are won militarily, and then you get to a ceasefire, you get to an armistice agreement, you get to some sort of understanding between two warring factions. The idea right now that AOC and Ilhan Omar and so many people across the West are calling for a ceasefire, it is only because Israel is now winning, if there is a win to be had in this. If it was reversed, if right now there were more Israelis dying and there were infiltrations into Israel and the rockets that the Iron Dome takes out were actually hitting the cities, AOC would not be calling for a ceasefire. She'd be cheering it on because she would be saying, oh, the evil Israelis, the oppressors, in her very warped worldview, are getting exactly what they deserve. And the truth is, she wants Hamas to win. So I would say, as an American, suck it, AOC.
Now, of course, one of the reasons why AOC gets away with what she says is because people agree with her because they've gone through the tertiary education system. And I saw on your show this week a great conversation with somebody who's an expert on college, university, and he says the system is broken.
Yeah, I had Pete Boghossian on. He's a friend of mine. He was a former professor at Portland State, which is one of the most radical, Portland, Oregon, one of the most radical places in the entire United States. He stepped down. He is now working from the outside on. At one time, he was working to reform the universities, and really at this point, he's saying give up on the universities, which I think many of us have come around to. It was just in the last couple of days, Paul, I had a meeting with my estate planners trying to figure out what we want to do with our kids, how much we want to set aside for college. And I said, what do you mean for college? I'm not sending these kids to college. I mean, if you want to send your kids to a brainwashing mill where they will be taught what to think rather than how to think, and in most cases taught all the wrong things. Thus, they will be cheering on for attempted genocide by Hamas and have everything else backwards and not know any basics about, I don't know, say the economy or world history or anything that might give them some usefulness in real life, then send them to college. So Pete Boghossian, he is one of the best when it comes to just enough is enough. Our institutions have been corrupted completely. And Paul, it's not just our educational institutions. I mean, it is our medical institutions. If we were to look at the CDC and the NIH here in the United States, it is virtually every institution that exists. Unfortunately, they could have tilted one way or another. They can always tilt more towards freedom and truth, or they can tilt towards authoritarianism and control. And unfortunately, entropy leads things tilting, obviously, to authoritarianism and control. So, no, you do not have to send your kids to college. You could send them to trade schools. There are apprenticeships that you can do. And obviously, there is some value in, say, medical school or learning how to be an engineer. But you have to go to a very specialized school, and you should make sure that it is not infected by all of the nonsense that we are seeing in virtually every single college in the United States.